It's Sam Gupta preparing for RRBPO. Very good. Great to see this. All right. So the first word of the day here is, my dear, espoused. Or you're supporting something, it's called espoused. Is the word clear? So again, these words are related with your editorials, related with your articles. They are very important, right? So do not just take them lightly. Now, when I say espoused, this means support. So now, the trick, how to remember this for a long period of time. Spoused. If I say the person who's a spouse can be anyone. The husband or the wife, the female or the male. So the role of the spouse is to support, to help. So adopt or support a belief, a cause or a way of life. Now again, support is related to the word spouse. This is just a trick to reconnect the word and reconnect the meaning. I think you will never forget this meaning and the word now. Moving forward, the next word is called assertion. Now, when I say the word assertion, what again comes to your mind? What picture do you see while seeing the word? So that statement which is saying you strongly believe that something is true. So now your belief that something is true is called assertion. Now something which is assertive. Something which is assertive is something which is true. Any doubts to anyone till here? Keep on putting up the thumbs up, Sam and Amar. Can you please also put up on the WhatsApp, Telegrams, social media, wherever groups and wherever you have shared that, please kindly join. The session is live now. Can you all do that? It is again very important. The next word here is exceed. Now when I say to exceed, now exceed means what here? Exceed means what come up when you're trying to agree with something. So when you're trying to agree with something, you say yes, you acknowledge something, you approve something. So acknowledge, approve, agree, all these words are related to the word exceeding. When you're exceed. I hope this is clear to everyone. Moving forward, the next word is called introspection. Now when I say introspection, this word has been coming up in the editorial many a times. So when I say the word introspection, this means when you deeply examine something. Introspect. Try to introspect yourself. Try to deeply examine yourself. Try to introspect your weakness, your strength. Means try to deeply analyze your weakness and your strength. This is used in that context. So the process of thinking deeply and carefully when you examine your own ideas and feelings. So you can examine your weakness and strengths as well. You can examine your own ideas. So everything, but it is connected with a deep examining. When you deeply examine. The next is called ravenous here. When I say the word ravenous, again, few words from yesterday's session. Now we are revising. Very good morning, Vipin. How are you doing? Vipin, do you have some social media groups? Can you just do me a favor and share the session over there? It will be of really great help. So when I say something which is ravenous, means something which is very eager, something which is very greedy for food. Now greedy for food, some satisfaction, some gratification, some very eager thing is called again ravenous. Any doubts to anyone? Obdurate, we did it yesterday, refusing to change your mind to do what people want you to do. So when you're refusing your mind and just doing what people actually want you to do. So that's called obdurate. Reluctant, we did yesterday, hesitance, hesitation, and the first idiom for the day here is, are you all ready for the idiom, guys? Turn a blind eye. Now what comes to your mind means you're just turning up the eye from which something is not visible. No, this is called pretend not to notice. Now blind means when you do not see, when you're not able to see from that particular eye, means blind. So you're just pretending that you have not seen anything, you have not noticed anything. That's called pretending not to notice. So you're just turning your blind eye. Example here would be, please do not turn a blind eye to what is happening. So please do not pretend that you have not noticed to what is happening. I mean, if in case you have noticed, make sure you have noticed. Right. So moving forward with the phrasal verb, the first phrasal verb here is call back. Call me back after the session. I am busy right now. So to call someone again, example I have made in front of you. Please call me back after the session as I am busy right now. I'm busy right now. Please call me back. I'm busy right now. Please call me back later. So call someone again. Right. Guys, I am really looking forward for your thumbs ups. At least that will, make me sure that yes, you are understanding, you're there. Can you all put a one thumbs up each? Things are clear till here. And now I am moving to the article reading. So herein we'll be reading the first article, which is telling something about, please understand this, 70% clarity will come from this only, guys. Understand? Come up, please come up with the words. Azamgarh. What are you trying to tell me here, Amar? Please just elaborate it. Okay. Now this says inflation's long shadow. Now inflation, you all know something when there is a rise is called inflation here. The Reserve Bank of India, that is RBI, is finally acting to rein in galloping prices. Now what is galloping? Something which is very fast, something which is very happening very in hurried way. So you'll be saying it's something happening in a very horrifying way, not horrifying, hurried way. Hurried way is called. So something which is just racing, something which is very fast, very racing is called galloping. Moving forward, I will be giving you 25 seconds to read. Once you are done, put up a thumbs up. I'll make sure that each and every word is clear to you. So basically in this we'll be learning about the rise in the price and how RBI is finally acting on the fast pricing, on the racing prices, on the just darting prices, how the RBI is acting. Yuvraj, today the class started exactly and sharp on time. Exactly on time. So you are late today. Everything has happened. You can just replay the video and see. Very good morning. I can see here Jayant and Abhiyayan. How are you doing? Once you are done, you have to put a thumbs up. Put a thumbs up quickly. Okay, let's just read. I think I've started getting answers by all the students that yes, ma'am, it is done. All right, thank you for being so generous, Sam. Very good. Moving forward, I can see. Is it all clear to you, my dear Jayant and Abhi? So moving forward, dear students, from here, this is saying the RBI has now joined battle by pitching the need to keep inflation and inflationary expectations under the check. So now this has joined a pitching wherein we will be they will almost be making sure that the inflation and the inflationary expectations both are kept under a check, both are visualized. So the front and the center of its policy approach. So just over a month after the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee, means just after a month, MPC decided, herein the Monetary Policy Committee is called MPC. This decided a surprise off-cycle meeting to raise interest rates for the first time in almost 4 years. The rate setting panel has followed up with a further 50 basis points increase in the policy repo rate. Now this context, this passage is everything about the inflation, about the Monetary Policy Committee, that is the MPC, and how RBI has acted over this particular issue. Simultaneously, on the other side, together, the MPC has made it clear. The MPC has made it clear it no longer intends to remain accommodative. Now this is, MPC had just clearly said, I am no longer accommodative now. So it will instead stay focused on the withdrawal of the pandemic triggered accommodation. Now this is saying I will no longer be remaining accommodative in this particular thing. Rather I will be focused. I'll be more focused, more consistent, more looking forward on the withdrawal of the pandemic triggered accommodation. Now, what do you mean by pandemic triggered accommodation? So, those accommodations which were really boosted up, which were triggered, means just at the time it was spontaneous, it was triggered at the time of the pandemic thing. Here it is saying that. So, this races to tame retail inflation and anchor it within the 2 to 6% target band in acknowledgement of the Herculean task it faces. Now, what do you mean by the word Herculean? Herculean here refers to something which is very laborious. It's called Herculean. I'll just write it here. So something which is laborious is called Herculean. The MPC now projects retail inflation to average 6.7% of the entire fiscal year ending in March. So this is now saying that the laborious task it faces, MPC has now project retail inflation, which is saying average to 6.7% over the first fiscal year. Now you all know fiscal year from that April to March, a full 1 percentage point increase from the, okay, now there is a full 1 percentage point increase, that is from 5.7% it forecasts in April. So it had foreseen for the month of April. The price gains are now expected to accelerate. Now the price gains, the gains are now expected to accelerate at a 7.5% pace in the April-June quarter. So in this particular quarter, the gains are expected to accelerate at a 7.5% pace in April-June quarter. Sizable to 120 basis. Now these are all just the facts and figures that how they are pointing out. So something which is very hard working, something very laborious, full of load, full of work, Sam Gupta. Right, so previously estimated before printing at 7.4% in the Q2, means in the quarter 2. So quarters are again, we have 12 months here, and the quarters are again after a period of 3 months. Right, period of 3 months is called quarter here. Q2, a sharp 160 basis points quicker than April's projection of 5.8%. Now herein, this is talking about the fiscal year, that is the March and the April thing. Then talking about the Q2, what facts and figures were initially they had predicted for the April month, how they had upcome. And then they were talking here about the policy repo rate. Apart from that, discussed about the how that MPC, that is the Monetary Policy Committee, this has decided at a surprise off-cycle meeting to raise the interest rates of the first time in almost 4 years. So they had decided the interest rates to rise, and that too in 4 years. Initially, prior to this, it was not happening. So now you have understood what is happening in this paragraph. So we discussed about RBI here. Then we discussed about what exactly just over a month after the MPC decided to surprise off cycle the meeting or to raise the interest for the almost 4 years, the rate settling panel has followed up with a further 50 basis points increase. Okay, so this has now decided exactly, it had happened for after 4 years that they would be raising the interest. But then the picture came into the, yes, the picture came into here. Just read this line once again. I'll use a different pen. Use this line again. The rate setting panel has followed up a further 50 basis points to increase in the policy repo rate. So this has also come into the point to increase the policy repo rate. Now we will read about the repo rate, policy repo rate, but this is from English point of view, only the vocab thing is something which is very, very important here. And if you talk about, of course, the understanding, this is from your general knowledge point of view now. Moving forward, please understand this. So whenever we're discussing about some Q3, some Q2, understand we're talking about the quarters here. Please understand it, guys. All of you put a done, please. Yes, thank you so much, Yuvraj, for the update. All new students, no, not 11 a.m. All new students, please join the session at 10 a.m. sharp, not 11, Yuvraj. You also be on time, please. Yes. Okay. So this is now saying the headline CPI based inflation. Again, inflation is again the rise in the price is now seen stuck above the RBI's upper tolerance limit in the quarter 3 as well. That is at 6.2% before easing it to 5.8% in the fourth quarter. That is your now Q4. So 4 quarters are there. 1 quarter is equivalent to a period of 3 months. I've told you that. That inflation looms larger over every other aspect. Now inflation looms here means the rise in the price. Looms is known as the emerging thing. Now this is emerging over every other aspect of the outlook which is seen for the economy worldwide. Now the looking at outlook as the whole economy worldwide. Now this is saying here where were we? Yes. So this is evident, means this is quite noticeable from the MPC's pointed reference to the growing stagflation. Now stagflation means what here? Stagflation means the deflation, you can say. So if I talk about the word some bankruptcy, some depression is called deflation. So the growing deflation concerns that are amplifying the volatility in the global financial markets. While the RBI has made brave to retain its April forecast to GDP growth in the current fiscal at 7.2%, citing an ongoing recovery, including in contact intensive services. So all those services which are contact intensive, and an expected boost to the rural consumption from the rain spurred kharif sowing and output 37% below the normal. This start to the southwest monsoon serves an early cautionary augury. Anything, please put a thumbs up. If it's not clear, please tell me, guys. Again, this is something which is related to your economics segment, related to your current segment which is going on. Again, your RBI, Monetary Policy Committee. All right. So, amplifying means, my dear, growing here, right? You amplify something that are amplifying the volatility in the global financial growing. Anything, please come up. Any words which are still not clear? So a thing which is volatile in nature is something which is quite growing, explosive. That's quite, you can say, something which is very resilient is also a nice word. We have done this word earlier. Resilient, explosive. So it's called volatile. Clear to everyone? I have written the meanings well. Anything which is not clear now, you all know what is Rabi crop, what is Kharif crop. Rice is what? A Rabi crop or a Kharif crop? I am sure you all must be knowing. Rice is what? A Rabi crop or a Kharif crop? Tell me quickly, this should be on the tips. Quickly tell me. Yuvraj, Sam Gupta. Tell me quickly. So if I say a Kharif crop and I ask you rice, rice is not a Rabi crop, it's a Kharif crop here. What else? See, it's not an English question, but then again, rice, bajra, cotton, these are all your Kharif crops. Very good, Sam Gupta. Very good. Very good. So stagflation is your deflation. Inflation is the rise in the price. I hope this is now clear to everyone till here. Moving forward. Yes. Please read this. Now this is talking about the Governor Shaktikanta Das. Please understand. Clear? Herein only, this was the added line to the previous one, saying that, this is a repeated one, that the Governor Shaktikanta Das has cited his findings to underline that states too could do their bit to soften the inflation. Now the governor here is saying that the states could also do a bit of their role just to soften the inflationary pressures, just soften the rise in the price pressures by further reducing their value added taxes on the, that is VAT on the fuels. Now cited here is quoted. So the Governor Shaktikanta Das quoted here that states should also do their bit, do a bit of their part, their role, to make sure that inflationary pressures are softened here. Alright, so we still have time. Alright, quickly we'll wrap up with one more article here. I think this won't go because of the network. So this thing we have covered, inflation's long shadow on the RBI's action. This is covered. The next passage is, next paragraph is here. It is completely based on one thing. I hope this is clear to everyone. The passage is clear. So this is, my dear, based on one specific thing, saying safe foods on the need to develop lab infrastructure in states. Now safe foods and related to need to develop lab. Now again, this is probably based on some check about the food safety. This is dependent on the topic food safety, saying states need help in developing the food laboratories infrastructure and enhancing manpower. Now state needs to develop the food laboratory infrastructure. States should work on that, should maintain that thing, right? And how to enhance their manpower. So let's just quickly understand. It is not that tough to understand the passage here. Food safety and the consumer empowerment are areas in need constant attention in India. So if we talk about food safety and the consumer empowerment, these needs the constant attention, where the enforcement is often lax. But in this, Tamil Nadu deserves credit for finishing at top among 17 large states for the food safety. So this deserves credit. It was ranked third in the previous edition. So this was ranked third in the previous editions of the State Food Safety Index. That is FSFSI. Okay, so that Tamil Nadu with 82 marks is ahead of Gujarat by 4.5 marks. Again telling us about some fact and figure. By 12, and Maharashtra by 12 marks. It highlights its creditable showing developed by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. That is Food Safety Standards Authority of India. Please note, again, could be asked. And the next one was, first is so this is developed by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. It is also called FSI, the Food Safety Index, that is FSI. This evaluates states and UTs on these parameters. Now this Food Safety Index, this evaluates what? The UTs and these parameters apart from their size. Apart from their size, from the human resources and from the institutional data. Compliance, food testing, infrastructure and surveillance, training and capacity building and consumer empowerment. So everything, this is now telling how FSI evaluates the state and the UTs on these parameters. So these are the parameters on which they are evaluating the states and the UT. Who is evaluating? Of course, the Food Safety Index. There, Tamil Nadu has improved its standing in human resources and the institutional data and training and capacity building. There has been incremental progress in compliance with measures, overall coverage of the food business in licensing and registration and food testing, which scrutinizes availability of the adequate testing infrastructure. Paragraph is very simple. With the trained manpower in, again, state UTs for the testing food samples. The state has performed marginally lower than what it did the last year in the consumer empowerment. But bearing Tamil Nadu, there is nothing for the other southern states to cheer about, despite the region being more advanced and then rest India in many socio-economic indicators. Alright, so this is now everything is completely making us very clear that Tamil Nadu has done really well. How come this has come forward if we talk from in context to Maharashtra, in context to the other states, and how the FSSAI and the Food Safety Index, they are doing quite well. If we talk about, if we check within what are the parameters they have set for the state and the UTs, on which parameters they are evaluating, right? This is also very clear. Now again, this is telling us about Kerala, which came second last time, is now at 6th spot. So initially it was second, but now it is at 6th. Karnataka has retained its 9th position. Telangana slipped from 10 to 15. Now see, all these states with the positions are mentioned here. Andhra dropped to the last slot from the penultimate slot in the previous edition when 20 states were covered, unlike the 17 now. So initially there were 20 states which were covered here. Now there are 17 states which are covered. So among the UTs, Puducherry rose from 7th to 6th again. So there was a rise in this from 7th to 6th. So now it is saying, but in the areas such as food safety, so in the areas such as food safety, states alone cannot make big difference without the support of the central government, since the matter is related to the food safety. State alone cannot do. there should be indulgence, there should be support of the central government also. Liberal assistance should be provided to the states and the UTs. Now, liberal assistance is something which is freedom sort of assistance that should be provided to both the states and UTs as far as the laboratory infrastructure for the improvement of manpower and both technical and non-technical which are concerned, which areas, which segments are concerned here. The private sector should come forward in a big way to have staff. All right, to have staff trained at their cost and such persons used productively for the purpose. So they are inspiring accounts and the participation of some information technology majors in getting the surplus food distributed to the needy, of course, with the help of the non-governmental organizations, which are also called NGOs, and this should serve a lesson to those who are still hesitant to make their contribution. All right, so this should serve a lesson to those who are still not making their contribution. So what every player in the field of food safety should realize is that each one has a critical role to play and there has been a collective and well coordinated action. So again, coming up herein we have read everything related to, if I come up with this, herein they have discussed about the FSSAI, about the FSI, about the states, about the UTs, about the central government, how they should help, how this index has evaluated what the states and the UTs, how central government should help in this, and how the numbers from the few were at a higher motive, higher point, like they were growing, and few were just dropping down. So everything we have related, and again this is everything related to the food safety, which is very, very important, and government should take proper actions to implement these. The manpower should be also there. Jayant, Bhumika, Jayant. Clear to everyone? Oh, wow, Sam. Why so? Can't you attend the sessions? All right, so this is now clear to everyone. Now the very, very important information I have brought in here for all of you is this. Understand one thing. So first thing, this is the newspaper analysis going on. This is now happening at 10 AM, you all know, and 1 PM is the vocabulary session. So we have, instead of this foundation series, we have started this RRB series. Why? Reason is being because RRB notification is now out and we all are planning to start something for the RRB thing also. So this is why we have started RRB. So herein you will be typing Adda 24/7 on Google. Once you go onto this first link, you will see one thing very important. It's a new thing I am trying to show you here. If I type in RRB, all right, let's just write the name only directly here. This is so if I put the name directly, you can see the RRB batches here. Yes, this says mission, RRB, PO and clerk. So my dear, when you go here, you will be seeing a detailed structure of this. Please understand. Now this is a target batch covering your prelims and mains both. Again, the product description is there. Course highlights are given. Which all exams will be covered in this. This is very much evident here. IBPS, RRB, PO clerk, both of them will be covered. Then this shows the subjects: reasoning, quantitative aptitude, English, computer knowledge and general awareness banking. Language will be completely in English. Which teacher is teaching what? This is also mentioned here. Do not forget to just have a look onto this particular thing, right guys? And this when we go on to the view offer, see guys, this is the only chance I think herein you can just buy the course, purchase the course, and of course time is still there till 27th of June. You can fill up the paper for the RRB. It is the dates are on, and it will be really great if you buy the course. Reason being, you will prepare it in such a way and clear the things, therefore you will surely succeed. So once you apply in the code here, that is why 536, and you apply here, you will see that it has reduced the price from 10,000 to just 2,300. So this 2,300 is again valid for 6 months. 2,300, 77% discount, and this batch will be starting from 23rd of June. I hope now you have understood the need, what all things are there, and I'm sure you'll be able to clear the exam also via this. All right, so it's a request to all of you to share the batch, to share the session which we had just taken. Apart from this, do not forget to join the session which will happen at 10 a.m. sharp. Do not think of leaving and missing the session. We'll be covering some top 50 errors in the session today. Right, I am starting a series of top 50 errors. All right, see you everyone. Please kindly share the session. Make sure you are commenting once the session is over. Please do comment also. Thank you so much. I'll see you all.